social media is slowly turning into the world's biggest idea engine. I saw a TikTok a couple of, like 2 weeks ago. I could not figure out for years how to train my neck in the gym. Huberman, for example, I mean already before Huberman. It's not that Huberman is the first fitness influencer that I now have to credit every time I talk about something Huberman said. Just like Alex Hormozi, and I've listened to a lot of Alex Hormozi content, but I also don't like many of the things he says. And maybe I also don't like many of the things he says because, well, I had different ideas and so now he said them and I have to credit him. Or maybe, maybe different reasons. So, first of all, maybe I'm also annoyed that I'm not Alex Hormozi and that I don't have $100 million. Could also be. So, in terms of training neck, there are these headgears which look like BDSM stuff. And so, in the gym, it's super ridiculous to wear them. So, you, in addition to having just a few things like your shaker and your towel and your weight belt, you then have to carry around this additional thing just for training neck. And so I could not figure this out. I tried many different things and I used eventually an ab crunch machine in a gym where I could train my neck somewhat, but I already maxed out the weight and so there was no way. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I just saw a person on TikTok talking about how they train their neck and they use the prone leg curl, which is the leg curl where one is lying and then basically pushing, more like pulling upwards. So one trains the curling of the neck. I now can't remember whether it is adduction or abduction. And how did I get this idea? This idea was transmitted, so someone else had the idea, then they tried it, then it worked, then they made a video about it because they thought it was important, then the video, through the algorithm, was distributed to me. I didn't even want to see the video because I just wanted to maybe post, but I saw the video because the algorithm showed it to me, and so now I tried this, and it's working. So now I have, in the gym I currently train, so the other machine was at another gym, and so I could not really figure out how to train neck in this gym. And now I use the prone leg curl, and I could not have figured this out on my own. And so, of course, people make videos about the things they find interesting and they think that are useful to people. And then if people find it useful, then it gets traffic. And so it might sound super obvious, but of course, it's like there are so many topics where there is no video about it. Like this morning, for example, I made like 3 videos about fitness flat rates. It's like, wouldn't it be a very great idea if on your watch you would have the RFID chip and you could just, that's the ideal scenario, you could just walk into any gym and into any swimming pool, etc. So basically into any sports place, and you would just have one subscription. You would not have to be exposed to all the bullshit gym membership marketing that always offers different discounts, and you can never really figure out what you're actually paying unless you pull out a calculator. Now with large language models, it's different, but it's like, do I want to spend 40 minutes just figuring out what I'm actually paying per month because there is this cost, and then they book again something else just to confuse me, basically. It's just strategy to basically never really let the members figure out what they're actually paying on average. And so I made videos about WellPass, about Urban Sports Club, because, well, this is a future that needs to happen. And so how do I make this future more likely? By bringing interest to this subject, or by bringing attention to the subject. And maybe someone at WellPass or eGym sees this and takes a few ideas and implements them. And this approach of just making content or also writing emails about things that annoy me and that then are basically future requests and critique about products, it's like, I did this now, I have been doing this for years, and because I'm often already logged into a product, like in terms of fitness tracking and general tracking, I use Guava Health. It's not the best app, but it allows me to import data from Garmin, so it now also imports my sleep score from Garmin. It imports my VO2 max estimate from Garmin. And it also has a grip strength manual input, which I also can use. So I have basically markers for both strength as well as cardiorespiratory fitness. And the cardiorespiratory fitness is kind of calculated automatically if I run with my watch. And so now, of course, I can write emails, which now and also in the future will probably not be read any longer, but it's like just a large language model that reads all the emails, and then basically here are the top 3 suggestions that users request, and also that are somewhat easy to implement, and so we implement these then in the next time maybe. And then then someone at the company says, yes, Codex, please write all of this, and then whatever. But the point is that the transmission of the critique is still valuable, because if nobody says something, if nobody transmits all of these things, then so the point is that most of the data is just missing. There is no data on why this doesn't work and this doesn't work and this doesn't work, or what the users want. Now sometimes, like the Steve Jobs way of doing things is like to know better what the users want. Of course, there are different arguments involved, I guess. But the main thing, the main idea, and also of making many of the videos I make, is just this needs to be something. People need to know about this, obviously, because, well, I don't want to live in a world where it's like traveling and training. It's just not compatible. You go to a gym and then you cannot train because they have like, it just doesn't work. And so for most of my entire life, I just almost didn't travel because there is always a compromise. Strength training especially just requires a gym that is kind of advanced, and if I don't frequently enough train in a gym that's advanced, then my muscle mass just decreases. And that's the end of the story. And so this problem needs to be solved, and if no one talks about potential solutions to solving this problem, then, well, who is going to solve this problem? Of course, it then takes entrepreneurs, etc. But, well, I cannot have 17 companies, and so I see, I just make videos, I guess, and then others ideally implement all of the things.